countdown to kickoff.
Rattler countdown to kickoff. Zay Major, the one and only, Big Zero.
Rattler countdown to kickoff. Go Rattler.
Welcome back to Rattler Countdown to Kickoff. I'm your host, Spencer Henderson. We have a really exciting show prepared for you all as the Rattlers are officially a little over a week closer to their first game of the year. So as always, I'll check in with the head Rattler in charge, Coach Willie Simmons, and I spoke with starting running back Terrell Jennings about how he's approaching his senior year wearing the orange and green. And I have coaches on the show today like Coach Morgan and Coach Henry, who will make their debut on the show and have something to say about this team. And finally, I was able to speak with the Athlon Sports preseason All-American receiver, Jamari Shareed, about his recovery process from a foot injury. And also, safety-loving Jenkins gives his thoughts about replacing Marquise Bell in the secondary. Rattler Countdown to Kickoff starts right now. We're back on the hill for another episode of Rattler Countdown to Kickoff, and the FAMU football team is chomping at the bit to get this season underway. The team had another good week of practice as FAMU Fan Day approaches in about 2 days. On Saturday, August 20th at 2 o'clock, FAMU fans will gather at Bragg Memorial Stadium for a meet and greet with the 2022 football team. So come on out. This is your opportunity to introduce yourself and get autographs from all the coaches and the players on this year's roster. So yes, head coach Willie Simmons will be available for pictures and autographs, and this week, he spoke about his players getting through the attrition of fall camp and how he expects his team to have a next man up mentality.
You know, a lot of guys are nicked up and bruised, and so it's good to get guys slowly back. Just trying to make sure they take care of their bodies, hydrate properly, get ample rest, and just do everything we can, live in the training room to get back on the field. You know, it's a physical sport. Training camp is the toughest time of year, and so we're going to have to push through and grind it out. And some guys got to learn how to play hurt, but all in all, I think we're getting healthier as we approach game day.
What are you telling those younger guys, that's behind Shareed and Manigo, going into this season?
Well, we tell all our guys, they made the camp roster, they have a chance, and that's why they're here. They're not here to hold up bags and be a scout team guy. Right? They're here to compete for a job. They're here to show us what they can do, and that's what they've been doing. So we've been really impressed with our new guys, with even our freshman walk-ons. A lot of those guys have a lot of ability, and we think they all have very bright futures here.
This year's offensive line will be critical for the Rattlers offense to have a successful year. And these guys have been working extremely hard in this year's fall camp, led by Coach Henry. And he's one of the most respected coaches on the staff. And I was able to speak with Coach Henry about his expectations for this unit and how he plans on approaching a year where he has to replace current Seattle Seahawk Keenan Ford.
Well, we've got a great core group of guys from top to bottom. We've got 17 guys in our room, and we've really increased the numbers in our line, which is important for us because these guys, as they're going through fall camp, they take their fair share of bumps and bruises and dings. That's just the nature of the position. They've come a really long way. We spent a lot of time in the summer working, talking technique, drilling it, talking scheme, understanding how we fit into the bigger picture. We spend a lot of time talking about what defenses do and how they're going to attack us, both in the run games and in our protection. So the growth, probably the biggest growth that I've seen is mental growth from our guys. They're getting to understand what we're trying to accomplish, the intent of the play calls a little bit better. So that's probably the biggest growth that I've seen in development of those guys since the springtime.
I talked to Cameron Copeland. He was saying that, you guys haven't been cramping, as much as years in past. What are some of the techniques that you've been teaching these guys, for them to get their bodies ready for the season?
Well, we all try to preach the same message, and that is that you get one body, you got to do a good job of taking care of it. Coach Simmons talks to our guys all the time. He'll tell them your body doesn't lie. So if you're cramping, that's a direct product of you not being well enough hydrated. So we need to spend plenty of time, plenty of effort, plenty of energy on replenishing the fuels and replenishing the nutrients that we lose as we're working out in this Florida.
Who are some of the guys that you're looking for to step up, and be a great force in that line this year?
Well, I'm a big believer in playing offensive line by committee. I don't think that we should have 5 starters and they play every snap of every game. I want to build competitive depth, and I want to have guys that we feel comfortable rolling in throughout the game so that we can stay fresh. The defensive line plays 10, 11 guys at any given time. So I feel like we should be able to have a similar mindset and similar philosophy as far as being able to roll a bunch of guys. So I want to be able to throw multiple players at defensive line and without any drop-off in execution and communication and technique. And so as we're practicing, we'll roll with a big quantity, a lot of guys, and we'll try a bunch of different matchups. Make sure the guys are comfortable comboing with each other, comfortable communicating with each other, but just, again, trying to develop and build a single unit, not 5 individuals. So we're still in the process of evaluating our guys and seeing who those first 5 are going to be, but don't expect to just see 5 guys when we play this fall.
This offensive line is responsible for protecting the quarterback as he moves around in the pocket. On August 27th, the Rattlers will face off with the North Carolina Tar Heels. And similar to last year, Coach Willie Simmons still hasn't named a starter for the first game. Rashawn McKay started the majority of the games last year, but the Rattlers have another quarterback on the roster that is pushing for those first team reps. Jeremy Musa transferred from Vanderbilt University in the spring, and he's caught the eye of his coaches and his teammates. The 6'3", 225-pound graduate student from Chino Hills, California, has a big arm, and he's competing against McKay for that lead position. And I caught up with Musa and McKay after practice to find out how that battle is going and why Musa chose to transfer to FAMU out of any other school in the nation.
Yeah, well, I think competition for the quarterbacks in general, is going to breed more competition between us all, and it's going to make us better, right? So me and Rashawn, we get each other better every day, bouncing ideas off each other, talking coverage, talking defensive fronts, what is our job on this play. So, we're always talking to each other saying, hey, what'd you see there? Why'd you do this? So we're using each other to help each other get better. What led me to my decision was, like I said last time, I was talking to, Coach Black. I had a really good relationship with him. He knew my quarterback coach from back home. They go way back. So that's how I first got in contact with Coach Black. And, Coach Simmons, I talked to him the first day I was in the portal. So we developed a good relationship right off the bat, had a lot of conversations. So those are the 2 main reasons on why I chose Florida A&M. And then, like I said last time, we got a great group of receivers. So what could a quarterback ask for more than that? Get to throw to Zay Smith, K-Dot, man, and go every day. So.
Well, I think we'll continue to let the quarterback battle improve, probably until the Carolina week. We want to really get both. Really right now, Jeremy and Rashawn are kind of neck and neck. Junior is kind of outside man looking in. And we really want to give those guys a chance to really show what they can do with the first team offense. So Rashawn and Jeremy are pretty much split reps down the middle. And again, they're both doing some great things. Both obviously have areas to continue to work on. And over the course of 25 practices, it's really the guy that's been the most consistent that gives us that chance. And, it's not out of the realm of possibility that both guys get significant playing time in the first couple of games.
In the beginning of practice, the main things that coaches like to focus on is the fundamentals. Like when the quarterbacks in the beginning of practice, we are doing platform throws, we are doing off-platform throws, just in case we get into some situations to a point where we don't have our feet balanced. We got to know how to still throw the ball like on the run. Or if it's pressure coming up the 8 gap, we got to know how to fight the interior by running into the pocket and delivering the ball to our running back in the check downs in the flat. So in the beginning of practice, that's when I feel like that's the most we have to focus on, like in the beginning. Because in the beginning of practice, if you're not focusing on the little things, the fundamentals, when it's time to get the team, it's everywhere. Because your mind wasn't trained in the beginning of practice to do the little things. So we do the little things in the beginning, it translates to when we get in team, once we get in 7-on-7, and it goes good because we've been practicing on the fundamentals in the beginning of practice.
Now, Musa played well in the scrimmage last Saturday and looks to compete for the starting position. And even if he doesn't start, he still has to be ready to play if his number is called. And speaking of being ready to play, one of the stars on this offense won't be available for this upcoming game against the Tar Heels. Jamari Shareed has made his presence felt as a leader for the Rattlers. And the team could use a guy like this with this type of speed against North Carolina. Shareed suffered a foot injury, but is now out of the boot and is taking it one day at a time. I spoke with Shareed after practice, and he shared his thoughts about how mentally strong you have to be to recover from this particular injury and how he appreciates the game a lot more now that he is able to put the pads back on.
Yeah, the process has been long. It's about 6-7 weeks. Just been standing there mentally, you know, for the guys. Just been coming to practice, getting mental reps and things like that. But I feel like my foot been coming along pretty good. You know, I'm out the boot Monday, and so no more boot. We gonna throw the boot away. Every day we trying to get my foot stronger, getting that foot stronger, doing small cuts, sprints, and things like that. But I really think my foot coming along really well. I feel good right now. I feel real healthy. I just thank God.
Cherie led the nation in yards per punt return in 2021, averaging about 20 yards per punt return. And he will not be able to play against North Carolina because he hasn't fully recovered yet. I'll keep you all updated on his injury status as the season progresses. Now, the guy who will be throwing the ball to Cherie didn't hold back his thoughts when I asked him what this offense needs to improve on. He also spoke about how much conditioning this team has put in to run the hurry-up offense. As a matter of fact, Rashawn McKay likes the upside of his team and looks forward to button up his chin strap and compete against one of the best teams in the ACC.
We're getting there. We're doing better up front. We're communicating better up front. And it's just a lot of newcomers that have to get acclimated to our offense, and they're coming along pretty good and actually pretty fast, faster than what I expected. But the scrimmage, we got to learn from it. Learn from all the mistakes we made and to continue to progress. I feel like we're moving around pretty fast. Every day we don't condition at the end because we're focused on running through. When we got breaks, we running. When we go into the sideline, we running. When we inside the lines, we running. That's the only time we get to walk is when we outside the lines. But we're never really outside the lines when we're in practice. So it's always constant moving around. Sometimes at the end, coach will line all us up on the sideline and we doing 6 inches. We'll flip, we'll do push-ups. And it's just a mindset thing. He want to see, are we weak in the mind at the end of practice when everyone's tired? He want to see if we're going to dig deep and listen to the details, just the small things. If he say roll to the right, he want to see if we all going to roll to the right. Or if he say roll right, if we roll to the left, then we know we're not conditioned to where we need to be. But for the most part, we've been doing that pretty good. Conditioning-wise, we've been moving around, flying around, and everyone's looking good, ready for competition.
McKay wants to get off to a fast start this year, but he'll be missing his starting running back from last year. Former Rattler running back Bishop Bonnet can no longer be relied upon in this year's running game, and Coach Simmons is looking for guys like Terrell Jennings, A.J. Davis, Jalen McLeod, and DeAndre Francis to help take the pressure off of McKay. Now, I spoke with Terrell Jennings and the former Pitt running back A.J. Davis after practice, and Davis spoke about why he chose FAMU when he entered the transfer portal and how he looks to help the Rattlers running game this year.
Every running back in the room brings something different to the table, from a running style, catching out the backfield, just moving around. Everybody in there can make plays. It's pretty good running back, probably one of the best running back rooms that I had since I've been in college.
Well, this year, as you named, DeAndre Francis, Jay McLeod, AJ, and then you got little Dalen Hall and Cam Seeger. Them guys fast, and they starting to learn the play. But as a leader of the running back group, I'm trying to teach them guys the plays, teach them like the ropes of the offense, and let them know, like, just be patient. Like, everything will come to you.
These running backs are very coachable and are improving each and every day. This coaching staff has found ways to challenge these players to perform at their highest level. One of the coaches that has played on the highest level is Devon Morgan, who is in charge of helping these safeties develop. I spoke with Coach Morgan about what brought him to FAMU and what improvements his safeties need to make before the countdown to kickoff.
Oh man, these guys are working hard, man. You know, they flying around, they're making the right checks, you know, getting the calls, making plays on the ball. You know, we had a couple interceptions today. The biggest thing we need to improve on is just continuing to improve on our technique and fundamentals, you know. I'm big on stressing about leverage, you know, and understanding what side I need to be on my guy, making sure my eyes are in the right place so I can make the play when it comes. And Coach Simmons is an awesome man, you know. Off the field, he's a father figure. He's a father figure to these guys on the team. He still gives me advice, you know, in certain situations, you know. But he's had great success over the last few years, you know, and I couldn't turn down the opportunity to come be a part of a successful coach like Coach Simmons, his staff. You know, everybody's sharp. Everybody's on top of their stuff. We get things done, and I don't know, it was just a no-brainer. You know, you get a feeling when something just feels right, and here I am. And I'm glad I made the decision because it's the best decision by far. I've been telling the guys, man, listen, this is the best job I've had in college football in my 7 years of coaching, so I'm happy to be here.
Coach Morgan has made a difference with these safeties on the roster and looks to replace FAMU's former safety and current Dallas Cowboy, Marquise Bell. This year, one of the safeties that will be asked to do more than he did last year is Lovie Jenkins. Now, Lovie played for the Rattlers last year after transferring from Louisville, and I asked him about what's been the difference between his time in Kentucky compared to his time on the Hill.
My experience, it was definitely totally different. It was different atmosphere, a different vibe. I could say definitely here, family. Really, that's all I can say really is family. A lot of people would ask, how was it, transfer from Power 5 level to HBCU, FCS level. What I can say is it's different. The business, in that aspect of the Power 5 level, it's all about business. Here I can say we're all about family, we're all about having fun, we're all about getting better. That's what I can say.
You talked to Coach about you replacing Marquise Bell, in that role. Just tell me some of the things that you have seen from your defense this year and how you plan on replacing an all-time great like that.
Right. The things I see from the defense this year is everybody was working to get better. We don't want to leave off where we left off last year. We're always working to get 1% better every day. And Marquise Bell, everybody know who he was. He was one of a kind of player. A dog. I got to fill up some big shoes, for that position, which I'm really quite ready for.
Jenkins has been flying around all fall camp and will be called upon to do big things for this defense. And this secondary knows that all eyes will be on them when the opponents decide to put the ball in the air. The safeties know their role, and so do the defensive backs. And the coach leading the defensive backs won a national championship at FSU back in the day, and he's sharing his knowledge. James Cozy III is getting the best out of his DBs, and I caught up with Coach after practice to speak about what he's like so far from freshman defensive back Zaire Riley and the rest of his secondary.
Well, right now we're making plays. We're making pretty good decisions. Slowly but surely, Coach Smith's putting in some new things and we're adjusting properly. Ultimately, we don't want to give up any catches, but having the opportunity to go against the receivers that we're seeing on a daily basis gives us a chance to compete, gives us a chance to battle. So, every day, we want to win the day, and that's what we're looking at and what we're trying to do. This is my third stint, right? I was here as a player. I got a chance to play for Coach Bowden and Coach Andrews. My second stint, I came back as a GA. Got a chance to coach with Coach Bowden and Coach Andrews, but just the nature of the job, right? Getting an opportunity. You've been to a few places, Kansas and Georgia and Canada, and then getting a chance to come back to Florida A&M, one of the top FCS schools in the country. It was a no-brainer for me.
Can you talk specifically about Zaire Riley and what he has done in camp and how he has impressed you?
Well, believe it or not, he reminds me of me when I was a freshman at Florida State, right? We were all, I was every bit of 5'9", 155 pounds. He's not quite 5'9" yet, but when he comes out and competes every single day, he challenges himself every single day. He goes against Xavier Smith, every single day. So ultimately he's going to be better, but he challenges himself. He comes to work every day, always asking questions. I only have to tell him once as far as any recommendation I have to give him. He's done a great job thus far this training camp wise, and I think he's getting better every single day.
Coach Cozy thinks that this secondary is in good condition and believes they'll have success going into a year where the defense is expected to shine. Another coach on the defensive side of the ball that think they'll be great is Coach Ryan Smith. Now, Smith is the assistant head coach, the co-defensive coordinator, and he coaches the linebackers for FAMU. And I was able to speak with him about his players on defense and how blessed he is to compete against Coach Willie Simmons' offense on a daily basis.
Right now, our guys are doing really, really well. We're just trying to shore up our calls and our run fits, make sure we're getting to the right spots in our pass defenses. We're really lucky that we go against Coach Simmons and our offensive coaches and players every day because they're going to test us, they're going to push us, and if we got any flaws or any weaknesses, they'll definitely find it for us and point it out. I tell people all the time I got the greatest job in the world. I got really good players, really good coaches to work with, and we go against a really good offense every day. So you got to bring your A game every day, but that's what you want as a coach, as a competitor. That's what you want. There's like they're saying, there's always somebody open on every play. But we've still got ways to go to get where we want to be. I like where we are now. I still think we've got a lot of improvement to do. And that's our goal for the next however many days it is to get to those expectations. But I do like how our guys are flying around. I do like the energy that they come to work with, and they are a fun group of coach.
Coach Smith is looking forward to see his defense play against one of the ACC's elite on August 27th and has high expectations for this defensive group. And in case you missed the last episode, the Rattlers' first game of the year will be in Chapel Hill, North Carolina against the Tar Heels. So now you know that we cover all aspects of FAMU football here at Rattler Countdown to Kickoff and give you exclusive interviews with the players and coaches. Well, that's going to do it for us at Rattler Countdown to Kickoff, but make sure you stay tuned for next week's episode as the Rattlers get in game mode to meet North Carolina in Chapel Hill. See you next time.